So hi guys, Matt Rhodes here, and I'm here with none other than Bjornsson. So good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Okay,
Thank you
and
for having me.
you're welcome. You're just 48 hours out now from your first non-exhibition fight.
True. I'm super excited. Can't wait. It's wow. What can I say? Time flies. 16 months ago, I started this journey, and here I am today. I've done 2 exhibition fights. This will be my first fight against someone where knockouts are allowed. No headgear, no nothing. So yeah, I'm excited.
And it's 12-ounce gloves too, yeah. So it's really going to feel the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were your exhibitions with 16-ounce gloves or 14?
No,
or?
actually we used 12 ounce as well.
Oh, you did,
and
yeah.
no headgear.
Okay.
They were cold exhibition, but I don't know why even. I'm not the one that makes the final calls here.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. And when you were at your heaviest in Strongman, you were approximately 205 kilograms?
Yeah, like at my heaviest during competition, often at World Tours Man and the Arnold Summer Classic, I used to weigh 205 kilograms. I would some years be a bit lighter, maybe like 190, 195, depending on the events, depending on how I trained that year.
And you're now approximately 155?
I'm like 150 more.
Because at 205, that kind of weight, you were pretty much the biggest human I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was big. Probably
Yeah.
myself and Brian as well. Like he probably has weighed more than 501, I think.
Yeah, but in terms of the way you carried it, because I'm thinking at 205, I've never seen someone that big. Of course, you were carrying fat, but you were still looking like a sportsman. And now you're at 155, and I've never seen somebody so lean and be that heavy. So it's pretty incredible how you've managed to carry the weight at both ends of the spectrum for these two sports. Are you surprised yourself by that? Were you surprised how you could get so big and now how you could get into the shape you are now?
I guess, I don't know. I've just always believed in myself.
It's just worked out.
I've just set myself goals, and not that I set myself goal to be 205 kilograms. But even though I never set myself a goal to be that heavy, but I always thought to myself, I'm 205 centimeters tall. How cool would it be to be 205 kilograms?
Okay.
So it wasn't really a goal, but I thought it'd be cool to be 205. Then I was able to get to 205, so that was cool. It was cool to be 205 centimeters and weigh 205 kilograms. But no, I've just always believed in myself. Worked hard. I'm a hard worker. Doesn't matter what I'm doing in life. Well, especially in sports, I just love sports. I love sports, and I just truly believe that I was born to be an athlete, because that's where I'm good at. I'm good at being an athlete.
For sure. And have you measured your wingspan before?
I have. What was it again? It was quite long. It was so they say that your wingspan should be roughly the same as your height.
Yeah.
My wingspan was slightly longer.
Okay, so it was 7 foot.
It was 7 foot
like
something.
Yeah, that's huge. And do you know your reach? It's in the 90s. Is that right?
I
Must be one of the biggest ever in terms of boxing. Yeah.
I don't know the numbers. I don't know what other heavyweights
I think
have.
Devon's got his work cut out with a jab as long as yours. Yeah.
Yeah, and his it doesn't work with him that he's not able to stretch out his arms, so that does not help. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I only knew you from Strongman. I'd admit I've never watched Game of Thrones, but of course you've got a large following that saw you in that show as the Mountain. How did that come about that you got into such a huge show like that?
Wow, I've told this story so often, but I'll tell it again.
Go on.
So I was in Iceland, and by the way, I was a huge fan of the show.
Oh, you were?
Huge
Okay,
fan of the
yeah.
show. So when I got the message first, I didn't even respond to the message because I just thought it was like a fraud or like a
Okay.
spam or whatever. You know, I thought the fan was just fooling around. Because I got it in such a weird way. I was sent a message on my fan page on Facebook. I guess they just didn't have my email, but I just thought it was such a weird way to reach out to me. I was just like, this gotta be a spam. So I didn't even reply back.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't until I got a phone call like a few days later, and someone's actually, hey, Game of Thrones, they're filming in Iceland, and they really want to see you for an audition. Are you available? I was like, what? Absolutely. So I went in, saw them, and yeah, rest is history. I got the part.
And obviously, like, finances are private, but was it a good financial thing, or was it more building your profile? Would you say that was the major benefit from it?
Absolutely both.
Yeah.
Helped grow my profile, which is always going to help the other
Finances
parts.
after, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I was able to get other jobs as well, commercials,
Yeah.
other acting stuff.
Did that
probably
distract from your strongman?
It did. I don't think a lot of people understand how much it distracted me because I was competing and placing third, second, year after year at the World Strongest Man while I was doing Game of Thrones, filming long, hard hours. I never complained, never said anything because I'm not like I just do the work and do my best. But yeah, it definitely took a toll out of me because people that have done acting before, they know how the days can be. It's like 12 hours a day, long days, where you're filming the whole day. It's hard to get your meals in. It's difficult to, well, then you have to train as well. Like I had to train 6 times a week, plus acting sometimes 12 hours a day, and then I have to think about my 6 meals a day as well, and my rest. It was definitely challenging, but I was able to make it work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay, well that's good. But I think people in the strongman community forget that it's such a fine margin between like the top 3 at World's Strongest Man.
Absolutely. Like I've lost World Strongest Man with a half a point, 1 point, and you know we can keep on going.
Yeah. And in the boxing, do you study fight tapes of famous boxers from the past? Is there any particular boxers you try to emulate or watch and learn things from? Or do you do more of just analysing your own sparring footage?
I obviously watched a lot of boxing. I love boxing. I've never watched as much boxing as I'm watching it right now. But I try to focus on myself, try to focus on what my coach is teaching me, listening to him. So whatever he says, I will do. And I have a great coach, Billy Nelson, who is taking me basically to the next level. I've improved a lot since my last 2 exhibition matches. So I'm really excited to show people the improvements and what I can bring to the table.
Yeah. And just so people are aware, you were happy to fight Marius, right?
Yeah,
when that was offered.
Absolutely.
People think maybe, you backed out of it, but I know, because obviously I speak to Don and Core Sports, that you said, okay, go get Marius and you'll have the fight.
Yeah. I've been happy to fight anyone really. I didn't say no to the first pro guys that I fought, guys that have decades or like they've been doing boxing since they were young kids, Stephen Ward and then Samuel Lilly. I fought those 2 guys. I didn't hesitate to say yes to that. And when they brought up Mariusz Pudzianowski, I didn't hesitate to say yes to that either. I'm always willing to challenge this. I'm always willing to challenge myself. And I want to challenge myself. If I could have chosen my opponent, I would have chosen Mariusz Pudzianowski for the reason to grow myself as a boxer, as a fighter. I truly believe that Mariusz Pudzianowski would have pushed me further and prepared me better for Eddie Hall. Not taking anything away from Devon, but 5 weeks is only 5 weeks, and you can only learn so much in 5 weeks.
Yeah, of course.
I have a huge respect for Devon for taking the fight for such a with such a short time period to be able to train. But he took the fight. He's a man himself. He took the decision. He signed the contract. He wants to fight me. Fine, we'll fight.
Do you not feel that Mariusz would have been too risky? Because all professional boxers have to start somewhere, and that would have been a huge step up, wouldn't it? I remember when it was suggested to Eddie Hall, I think Mariusz put out on social media at one time, you know, I'll fight you in a warm-up, and Eddie was like, no thank you. I was surprised that you agreed to that, because it seemed like a guy that's been fighting for 10 years, I know in MMA as opposed to boxing, but you had no fear that...
No, I truly believe I can beat him.
Yeah.
I've improved a lot, and I'm constantly improving, and if Mariusz wants to fight me at any point, and if we can figure out agreements, I'm willing to step in the ring with him, and I truly believe I could beat him. I'm improving as a boxer every single time, and the more time I'll get on my belt, the harder the more difficult it's going to be for him to beat me. That's for sure.
And from the outside, when we watch yours and Eddie's training footage, it's polar opposites. You seem to be an absolute student of the sport, learning everything as a professional boxer would. And we watch Eddie, and to be honest, you know, he's kind of punching celebrities or in with his friend, and we see him apparently looking fast, punching hard, but it seems like he's after a fight and you're after learning to box. And as they say, a good fighter, good boxer beats a good fighter. So is that your kind of theory that you're working by, that if your boxing ability will overcome any type of just aggression or fighting that Eddie might bring to the...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to punch first before you put any power into your punches. And right now I'm a student, and I'll stay a student for many years to come. The moment that you think that you are great at something, that's the moment where you will go downhill, I believe. I was always a student in Strongman. I kept learning and learning, and I kept getting better and better. And that's how you should look at everything in life, doesn't matter what it is. That's how I look at everything in life myself. I stayed student in Strongman until I retired, and I'll stay a student in boxing until the day I stop.
Yeah. And this fight against Devon, I know you guys get on well, there's a lot of mutual respect, but you've both been very clear this is business. When it's fight time comes, it's real. What's your plans for this fight? To just take him out as early as possible?
I don't want to hurt Devon, and I know what it's like to be punched in the face for many rounds again and again and again. That actually hurts more than being knocked out the first round. So I'd rather knock him out the first round just to get it over for him, so he'll get out of the fight healthy. I don't want to hurt the guy. I don't want to. One good punch can knock someone out, but they can be fine afterwards. But being punched 100 times in the same place could actually damage you.
Seeing how you're training, the fact that you've been away from your family for so long, it's blatantly obvious how seriously you're taking this. But is there a small chance that you've been slightly complacent because Devon is so inexperienced? You're thinking, you know, you're going to walk through him, and this is boxing, and we all know one punch can change everything. Is there any risk of that, or are you still taking him very seriously as an opponent, but just with the plan to knock him out?
I'm taking him extremely seriously, like every opponent that I would take. I'm gonna go in there and do my best. I'm not gonna go in there fooling around or anything. I'll go in there for a war. If he's not ready, it's going to be a very, very, very rough time for him.
And then obviously the plan after this will be to fight Eddie. That's the kind of goal at the moment. Do you watch any of Eddie's training? Are you concerned by that at all? Or do you just not follow it and stay away from all of that?
I'm not worried about him. I'm mainly focusing on myself, and I haven't, to be honest with you, seen a lot from him. Yeah, I've seen him punching some celebrities or some people from his hometown. That's about it. I haven't seen really any real training yet, so I have no clue how his training is going. He obviously got injured, so I'm not even sure if he's training at the moment. We'll see, we'll see. I just hope that he's taking it seriously, because I want a fair and a clean fight where, you know, we can just end this and move on.
How would you like this to end with Eddie? You have this fight, obviously, you plan and expect to win that fight. At that point, do you just want to draw a line under this feud between you and Eddie and not have to answer any more questions about him? That's kind of, it's settled there in the ring and that's it. Is that the way you see it going, or?
Some people like to live in the past. I'm not there. I'm all about moving forward and getting better in life, and having goals and seeing the future. So of course, I don't want to live on the past and keep mentioning the past. Yes, I don't get along with Eddie. That's fine. Do I hate the guy? I don't have time to hate people. Hating someone just takes energy from you. So I decide not to hate. Like, why would I hate the guy? Like, oh, I dislike him. Yeah, sure, I dislike him. He's never going to be my friend, but that's okay. I don't need to be. He doesn't need to be my friend. That's okay. He can do his own things. I can do my own thing, and yeah, we'll just move on. And I wish him all the best after I knock him out, and hopefully it's not going to damage his career too much.
Okay. Moving on to Strongman, which is where a lot of us know you from. You had an extraordinary career. You had 8 consecutive World's Strongest Mans. You were on the podium. Everybody knew to win World's Strongest Man, you had to beat Thor. As simple as that. As you said, you had all the distractions too of being in Game of Thrones. It all sort of culminated, I would say, in 2017 and 2018 for very different reasons. 2017 turned out to be a very kind of negative year for you, I would say. Looking back on that now, do you have any regrets over what happened that year? Or do you just feel that it was always going to go that way because Eddie perhaps wanted to create that drama out of it?
You know, I'm here today for a reason, so I don't like to have regrets in my life. No, I don't have any regrets in my life, and I don't need to. I know what happened in 2017 is something that I completely disagree with. How things were run, how things were done, and that's okay. I have my reasons, my opinions.
Could I ask you now, looking back on it, overall, would your biggest issue with it be event selection that seemed to be highly in favor of Eddie?
I was completely fine with the event selection, but changing the events, you know, literally during the competition or like day before, that's just not acceptable. Especially when it's favoring one guy, that's just not acceptable. And I wasn't a fan of that at all.
And they made a big thing.
We literally put our lives on the risk here in this sport, and they're just playing some games here. That's just absolutely BS. That's why I just honestly I don't like how World Strongman is run. Why do you think so many World Strongman competitors dislike how World Strongman is run? Because it's done poorly. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, certainly
could be a lot better.
It's commonly said that they try to influence the outcome, to determine who they would like to win it for whatever reason.
It's been like that for years, and that's just BS.
looking back at the Viking press, do you think that was actually an issue, that event, the double dip situation, or actually that wasn't really the problem for you?
That
It was a
wasn't the
smoke screen
problem.
that
They just made it
was
look like
used.
that was a problem. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
So we go from that to 2018. Finally, you win World's Strongest Man, but you don't just do that. You win Europe's Strongest Man, you win World's Ultimate Strongman, you win Arnold Strongman Classic and World's Strongest Man. Now, in 20 years of me following the sport, I've always said Big Z is the greatest. The one time I ever started to question, has someone else come along that's got to that level, it was 2018 with you, because that was an extraordinary year where you were unbeatable, and it seemed like you had got to this point now where it was almost impossible to see how you were beat. You had all these different kinds of events, all these different competitions. Some obviously were much more movement based, and then you've got things like the Arnold, particularly heavy. No one could get near you. Do you feel like you were unbeatable at that time? Did you feel invincible?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for the compliments. I actually got goosebumps to be mentioned as almost great as the GOAT himself, Sidron Savikas, the best ever. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was the best that year without a doubt, and I proved that. How many people can you name that have won so many big shows back to back and literally dominated them? There's one thing, okay, you see guys win one show and then they might place third or fifth even the next show. The reason is Strongman is such a tough sport with so many different events, and if you have one weakness in one event, it can take you down and you can lose so many points. I was at the time in my career where I just had no weaknesses. It didn't matter what event you would put out, I would win that show. The only thing that could stop me was an injury, and that will stop. That will, yeah, I don't like to take anything away from anyone, but yeah, an injury could slow me down. But yeah, I was very happy with 2018, obviously.
You mentioned injury. In this sport, we get tons of serious injuries. You had a pretty incredible career in terms of avoiding major injuries. How did you do that? Do you believe it was something to do with your training, your diet? Do you think it's genetics or a combination of these things?
I think it's everything. I think it's the way I took care of my body, the way I treated myself as a professional athlete, the way I gave my body the right nutrition, the way I trained, the way I listened to the body, everything, all those small details. The rest I got, the naps I took, the hot and cold baths, everything. I was literally obsessed to be better, and I did anything I could do to become better. So I became the best. That's how it was. And I mean, I got some injuries throughout my career, but I never really spoke about them.
Okay.
I never spoke about them. The reason why was because I didn't want to show weakness. I wanted my opponents, because people were just like, Thor is just like, he is
Unstoppable.
unstoppable
Yeah.
for some reason. He doesn't get injured. He's always good. And when people would ask me, Thor, how are you feeling? I would always say, great.
Yeah, okay.
Best day of my life. Great.
So you're keeping their minds all the time.
Yeah, just to play the game, just to like, yeah. I would always say I feel great, feel good, even though like maybe 3 weeks before I tore a muscle or broke my toe or whatever, There were some times where I didn't feel 100%, but I never told anyone.
Yeah. And then going from that extraordinary year, you broke the deadlift world record, the Strongman deadlift world record. First of all, I've put on record many times that I believe your record is true. There's no federation, there's no set rules in Strongman. So for one promotion to claim one record is valid over another is nonsense. A lot of people are new to this sport, don't understand that, for example, I remember way back at the Arnolds, they used to give guys third, fourth attempt at records. There's always been all different situations. This weekend we're about to see Ian Bibby at Giants Live go for the log press world record out of competition, which is quite ironic considering it's Giants Live that claim that your record wasn't done against other competitors. So I think that's kind of proven the point that there are no strict rules about this. And yours was actually calibrated right there just before you lifted, which is the only time I've ever seen that in Strongman. And Magnus was your referee, who's also a World's Strongest Man and at Giants Live. So everybody knows I've always counted your record. Just want to make that that clear to you as well. Now, first question is, why 501? Was that deliberately to annoy Eddie because it seemed like you had a lot more in the tank that day, or was it just because you wanted to be 100% certain?
501 was just more than 500. I didn't really, I just wanted to beat the records, and I didn't really care if I did 501 or 510. I just wanted to beat it, and 501 was enough. Yeah, I could have probably done 510, but it just, why? There's just no need. Let's break it 1 kilogram so the new generation, the new guys can hopefully break my record soon.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thought with it. If you got 510 when it looked like you may have been able to, it would have been years until people got near that record, I think. But 501, you've given people like maybe a window of opportunity, not that anyone's done it yet. You never thought, well, I put it somewhere where no one else is going to get near. That was never a temptation for you.
There's nothing to prove for me. Like I've won so many competitions, I've broken so many records. Like there's nothing to prove, and I find it silly that people are questioning this lift. Like I'm not strong enough. Like okay, yeah, sure.
I think most people were more kind of wondering how much you could have lifted, you know? 'Cause the relative ease that you lifted it with, it was like, God, how much more did Thor have in the tank?
I think people just like were surprised how easily I lifted 501, because yeah, I had more than a tank. And I gave it a thought. I was like, should I go for more? And then just straight away I was like, no, why? There's no need. I remember I gave it a thought for like a small second there after I pulled 501. I mean, that would have been very crazy to pull 500 kilograms plus twice the same day. And I'm crazy enough to believe that I could have. Honestly, in my head, I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like I'm crazy enough to believe that. But like obviously we will never find out if I could have or not.
And that lift is probably the most taxing for central nervous system and everything. How long did it take you to recover from that?
Probably, I honestly felt not too bad afterwards. That's the crazy part. I was obviously in a great shape during the time. I was back in the gym the day after.
Yeah.
The day after I was boxing with my friend Skule, back home in Iceland. Yeah. I was boxing and working the pad work, doing some pad work with him, hitting the bags, and I just started straight away because I took the boxing extremely seriously, and I knew that I only had so much time. I couldn't be wasting my time. I had to. I probably should have given my body some time, but I didn't. I was just like, I need to stay active here. I need to get myself into a fucking shape. I'm so heavy. I'm so off-shaped for being a boxer. It's just crazy.
And everyone talks about that deadlift 501, but for you, is that your greatest ever feat in Strongman? Because you did some other incredible things like the elephant bar deadlift world record at the Arnolds. You beat it 2 years in a row. You still hold that. You had some great events for you, like keg toss, things like that. For you, is that 501 your greatest ever lift in Strongman, or is there another one?
Um, yeah, probably among, yeah, I would say that and the elephant bar record.
Those two, yeah.
Those two.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
And I always like to ask strongmen when I meet them about their psychology, because we always see what you do, but psychology you can never see. So I just want to ask you, where do you go? Where does Thor go in his head before lifting 501 kilograms? Are you angry? Are you calm? Where do you have to go to create that kind of strength?
Mm, mm, mm. It's more the preparation. It's more the preparation. You know, all the training, all the years, all the preparation that I've, all the work, all the hours that I've put in, and all the confidence that I've built inside me over the years with not missing a lift in training and just believing in myself.
Hmm.
I never doubted myself for a second.
Okay.
That I could not lift 501. Like I'm not doubting myself for a second that I can knock out Devon. That's like, your mind is a very powerful thing, and once people realize that, how to control their mind, you can do the craziest things. The craziest things. The mind is a very powerful thing, and you know, I would put so much pressure on myself very often. If you look at my prep before 501, I would call out lifts. I would say I'm about to do 470 for 2 reps tomorrow, like just being confident and ready. Like you don't see athletes do that because they're afraid of
They make
failing
it fail.
and like not like, because then they can post it and they don't like to post failures.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was just so confident in my ability that I used to, before Arnold's shows, I used to for many shows, I would just call out lifts and say, hey guys, tomorrow I'm about to do this. Make sure to check it out. Bam, and then I did it and posted it. I was just very confident, and I kept telling myself I could do it. I kept visualizing, and then when I was about to do it, I just did it. It was never, I never really failed in training. It was very rare that I would fail in training. The only time I really failed was in competition, which wasn't often either.
So when you stepped up to the bar, it was just 100%, I am lifting this.
Yeah,
It was that, yeah.
never a doubt, never a doubt. The moment that you doubt yourself in anything, that's the moment that you are losing. You're not gonna be able to reach your goal. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to set yourself goals. That's extremely important, and I've been doing that my whole career, setting myself goals, setting myself crazy goals. I remember, like, I remember my journey in Strongman. You know, I would tell my friends, you know, I'm gonna win this title, I'm gonna do this and do that and lift that and that, you know, and they would just always they would question me, and we're like, Thor, you're taking a step too like
Too far, yeah.
too far here. You're like, let's take a step back here. I was like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I even, as a great moment, I'm competing at the World Strongman my first year, 2011, and a great friend of mine, Stefan Bjornsson, a World Strongman competitor as well. He was there with me that year, and I was with Brian Shaw in a heat, and that I was a rookie. It was my first year. I was a rookie. No one knew who I was. I was completely a beginner. My second year in Strongman, my first ever World Strongman competition, and I remember going to the track pull event, being fired up, and I told my friend, I'm gonna win this event. And he looks at me like I'm crazy. And he says, you do realize that Brian Shaw is with you in heat? I'm like, yeah, and what? Just confident and calm, like I'm gonna win this event, and I won it.
And where did that?
If you go back, guys, and look at it, World Strongest 2011, I won the truck pull in my heat against Bjornsson as a rookie.
It's incredible.
And I won the truck pull at that year's World Strongest in the finals.
That's the only world's strongest man you went on the podium, yeah? After that, podiumed all the way through, yeah?
Yeah, my first year as a rookie, I placed 6th. Actually, I was tied 6th and 7th with Marius Lalas, a great strongman that won the Arnold Classic one year.
Vitautas.
Vitatas Lalas. Sorry, I said his brother actually. Yeah, Vitatas Lalas, a great guy who won the Arnold Classic once. Yeah, I placed. I was tied with him that year, and then after that, I was always podium.
Yeah. And where did this absolute belief come? Was it your parents instilled this in you? Where do you think you got that from? This total belief in yourself?
I've actually never thought about that. That's a good question. I've never thought about that. I guess, it's a good question. I've never thought about that. Why do I?
'Cause it's not something most people have.
No, I guess I never thought about it.
I wonder if it was nature or nurture,
Yeah. I've been like this my whole career since I started. Like I said, like my first year competing at the World Strongest, like I'm already like telling people that I was gonna beat Bjornsson in track pull. Like for people then, like people. If I would have posted that online, people would have just said, "You are fucking stupid, Thor. Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking rookie. You're not gonna win track pull." But I won it.
You did it.
I did it. I was just confident. I don't know. And usually when I said those things up loud, I did it.
And then you won 3 consecutive Arnold Strongman Classics, and quite probably would have done more if you were carried on there. For you, is that the ultimate competition to determine who is the strongest man in the world?
Well, there's a debate. Some people would say that. Some people would say the world's strongest man. 2 different competitions. I would say the guy that wins the Arnold Classic and the World's Strongest Man, he is the ultimate strongest man in the world. Because winning those 2 competitions, then there's no question.
Yeah, you've got that mobile and static strength.
Yes. Those are the 2 the toughest competitions, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So there's a debate. Some people would say Arnold Classic is the ultimate show, while others might say the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, I think the purists would say the Arnold's is, but perhaps the kind of more casual fans.
I think the fans believe it's the World's Strongest Man because of the name, because the title.
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe more guys want to win the World's Strongest Man because of the title.
Yeah.
The title does more for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All the sponsorship and things like that, opportunities come from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have this tattoo on your leg, "Don't Weaken." Yeah. Now, for people that don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger approached Terry Todd to create the Arnold Strongman Classic, and he and his wife Jan were directors of that up until Terry sadly passed away in 2018, and now Jan continues on as director. I assume Terry had a significant impact because of the fact you have his kind of trademark saying "Don't Weaken" on your leg.
Absolutely. Terry Todd was a great guy for the sport of strongman, and just a great friend as well. I got this tattoo because of him. A quote that he used a lot, and when he passed away, I wanted to get this tattoo just to, remember him. And not that I will ever forget him, he was a good friend, and Jan as well. But yeah, this tattoo means a lot to me.
That's a really nice touch. And the big question people say is, why did you walk away from this sport? You were at this peak now where it looked like you had this chance to become arguably the greatest strongman ever. Obviously, you're there or thereabouts, but a lot of people felt, okay, you're going to go on a 3 or 4 more year run and smash everything. Why did you turn to boxing when you're at this absolutely incredible level of strongman? Why did you do that?
I was just happy with my career, and I don't think people really understand how difficult this sport is on the body and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just also got kinda, I mean, I just wasn't happy with how some shows were run. So there's like combination of me being satisfied and happy with my career, and like I've just had enough of this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like I as an athlete deserve to be treated better, and obviously not. This is not shot at every single show. There's a lot of great shows that treat athletes and are done very professionally, but mainly the reason why I retired was because of my health and me just being satisfied with my career. That's the two main reasons, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I was just satisfied, I was happy, and I wanted to take care of my health.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure that I would be there for my son and daughter for the future. Strongman isn't an easy sport, and I don't want to risk my health for what? For one more World Series title? For two more World Series title?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no way.
Could you enjoy strongman whilst doing it in your
I,
career?
I absolutely enjoyed it. I love strongman.
Yeah.
I loved competing against strongman. But it's just too much on the body and for so little reward.
Did some motivation leave you once you had won World's Strongest Man? From the outside, it appeared that you became maybe just a bit more relaxed generally in yourself, around people. It just felt like that. Once you won it, it was like, okay, I've done this now. I've done everything in this sport. Would that be fair to say that you just felt it took some pressure off you? Because obviously everyone's expecting you to win it, and I'm sure you were.
Yeah, you're probably right there, because I did put a lot of pressure on myself, and I would be often very selfish as well with my time and everything, because the only thing that really mattered when I was in strongman was my training, eat, and sleep. And I didn't like the way I was as a strongman. I wanted to give more time towards my family, towards my wife, towards my kids. So as an athlete, as many athletes probably have to do, they have to sacrifice times, and it just took too much time, and it drained me too much. Being 205 kilograms, you just don't have any energy left after I train and eat my 6 meals a day. I just want to lay on the couch and just relax. And then before my sessions I don't really want to do much because I'm tired. I'm just always tired because I'm not sleeping well because of my body weight. So it's just like after a decade of doing that, I was just like, I had enough. Now I just want to focus on feeling better, basically.
If this boxing opportunity hadn't come, would you have carried on in strongman, or was that it? You were going to go do something different regardless?
I had other opportunities that I was looking into, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. I might have stayed a year longer. I might have not. I might have, because I was already thinking about retirement. I was already in my head. I was just like, so I've done it for a decade. I'm healthy now. I've done well for myself. Why risk it? Why risk my health where I'm actually still healthy, because you see guys that, you know, fuck up their bodies and their healths and everything. I want to walk away healthy. I want to walk away without, you know, being in physical pain all the time, and I did that.
Yeah. The last couple questions. Strongman today. We're about to see tomorrow Mateusz Kaliskowski make his return. For you, is he still the best strongman in the world right now, as long as he's back where he was before?
We obviously, I haven't seen much of Mateusz Kaliskowski, sorry, lately, but I spoke to him yesterday, I believe, and he told me that he was back to his normal shape. If that's true, which I don't doubt at all, he looked good, looked strong. Yeah. So if he's back to his normal shape, no one has a chance. He's going to win this show. This show is good for him. There's some good events for him. So in my opinion, I'll just say it straight out there, he's going to win this show. That's my prediction.
Okay. So you still see that him at his best is above the Novikovs, the Tom Stoltmans?
Yeah, I truly believe that he is going to win. I mean, Novikov is great as well. But looking at the events, I think that Mateusz is slightly better and he's going to win. Could go the other way around. Novikov is still very strong. Luke is strong as well. I think Luke is not competing though, so we can't really talk about him. I think he's not competing at this show this year. And I mean, there's a lot of great strongmen today, and there's only this one mistake. If you have 1 week events, and that's the thing, Mateusz does have a weak event. And we all know what event that is, the deadlift. But there's no deadlift here. So we take his weakest events out of the event, then he's very, very, very hard to beat. Because like anything else, he's almost unbeatable. Like for me, even at my best shape, it was just difficult to win him in really anything. I would have to battle it through. I mean, there were events that I would, you know, obviously like throwing events, deadlift, you know, where I'm like was difficult to beat me in, you know. But this show, these events, it's his to lose in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe strongmen don't focus enough on their weakest points? Is that how you became so rounded, by going away and constantly working on those events you weren't so good at? So it seems like some guys throughout their career struggle in certain events, like, oh, that's their bad event. We can name all the guys here and say, oh, this is their bad event. Yeah. But we couldn't do that with you.
No, maybe that's the case, yeah. I was spoken to some of the guys, I'm not going to name drop anyone, and I've actually asked them, like, so how is your training going? Have you been working on your weaknesses? And some just straight up say no. And you wonder why. Like, why would you not work on your weakness? That was something that I worked on every single year. If I felt like I had to improve on something, I would train it twice as hard. I would focus on that event and focus on, you know, for example, for some time my grip wasn't the best, so I would just focus on grip, train grip twice till 3 times a week. And it would improve a lot until I would place always top 3, second, or even sometimes wins grip events, where before I would maybe be in the middle or below the middle in grip events. And then other events, you know, I would just focus a lot on my weaknesses and make them my strength, make them my good events.
Final question, because I know you've got a fight to focus on here.
Yep.
But it's the one question fans ask most. Is there any chance you will ever return to Strongman?
Good question. I don't like to say no, and I don't like to say yes. because you never know where lives can take you. I'm still only 32 years old. I'm turning actually 33 soon. So I'm still young. I'm still healthy. Still strong. I mean, I'm still strong. I think I could be back in a comparative shape because I've trained for such a long time that my muscle memory is so good that I truly believe that within a year I would be back in a great shape, a great competitive shape. So we never know. We never know, but I don't like to answer this question with a yes or no.
Okay, so it's a maybe.
It's a maybe.
Okay, well, I think for a lot of people that's good to hear. Just that little small chance that you might be back is exciting, I think, for the fans.
Yeah, let's keep them excited.
Okay, look, I wish you just the very best in whatever you do going forward. Your strongman career was one of the most enjoyable for me to follow as a fan. It was without doubt one of the greatest ever careers. At your peak, it was quite possibly up there with the big Z's of this world. Now I see you've got a great family, so I just wish for you that you and your family are happy whatever you do, and yeah, wish you all the best. So
thank you so very much. Appreciate the interview. Nice talking to you. Wish you all the best for the future. Hope your channel grows.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Make sure to subscribe, guys.
Okay, thank you very
Awesome,
much, man.
awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so
Cool,
much
man.
for taking the
No
time.
worries, man. It was actually a pleasure. I actually,
It's okay.
yeah, I thought it was a good interview. I thought you asked the right questions. I thought, I actually, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a good interview. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that your channel grows and it's going to be successful for you, because it's a good thing for the sport to have something like this. Some people with knowledge about the sport, like yourself, someone that knows the sport, to be able to put out information, to talk about it. This will only grow the sport. If your channel grows, that will only grow the sport.
I appreciate that.
Please subscribe to Matt Rhodes Sport on YouTube.